As Kenya grapples with increasing cost of living and controversial government policies, Gen Z, a term used to refer to people born during the late 1990s and early 2000s, has harnessed the power of social media to fuel a wave of protests and political activism against Kenyan President William Ruto's 2-year-old administration. Despite the president trying to cool the tempers down, the agitation by the youth is still ongoing. Here is our cover report.
I, William Samoei Ruto,
Kenyan President William Ruto is a man who has been under siege from all corners of his country. After being forced to withdraw the controversial tax bill and dissolving his cabinet, he was on a course of healing the nation, which began with his austerity measures. President Ruto unveiled his new list of cabinet secretaries from the most unusual setup. Some of them are from the opposition party run by his opponent, Raila Odinga. One after the other, the 19 new cabinet secretaries were sworn in amid a significant security presence at the State House. A majority of the ministers in his new cabinet were in his previous cabinet, which has further angered protesters. President Ruto described his new team as an alliance of rivals in a nation that had long suffered factional and sectarian competition.
I freely admit that due to suboptimal communication of our development agenda and a feeling of insufficient public engagement, we have lost many opportunities to walk the journey of transforming Kenya with everyone aboard.
Even as the president was on the path of reconciliation, the youth and some who were dissatisfied with the new cabinet ran the streets aloud. Protests have been the new norm in the East African country for weeks. What started as a movement of Gen Z on social media quickly transformed in other groups, mostly hooligans, raining the streets with a different agenda. In all of them, police were at hand to deal with them, and in most cases, journalists who were covering the events were caught in the crossfire. What started out as a peaceful, youth-led rally against an unpopular tax bill quickly morphed into a wider action against the president. The government's response to the digital uprising has so far been a mixture of heavy-handedness by security forces and cautious engagement. Analysts say Ruto's acknowledgement of the power of social media, coupled with his warning that he could shut down the internet, has created a climate of uncertainty. Talking about the digital revolution, Nairobi-based spoken word artist Stephanie Akini, who goes by the stage name Spontaneous the Poet, is using her music to communicate on the issues of social justice and political unrest that are affecting her generation. Her lyrics and performances condemn police violence against peaceful protesters and call on Kenyan politicians to be accountable for their actions, striking a chord with the nation's young people.
I think it just sucks, you know. It sucks to be in a country that's supposed to take care of its citizens, but instead uses the power that it has been given by the people to kill its own. So for me, the video When a Young Blood Bleeds it's always said that documentation lives on. And that's my one way of expressing the frustrations that we hold as citizens, with the hope that we will be able to have good governance and good leadership and change the system and how it's been operating without thinking about the voices of the citizens.
More than 50 people have been killed since mid-June, when protesters began taking to the streets to oppose tax increases proposed by President Ruto, and that's according to the government-funded Kenyan National Commission on Human Rights. Activists have maintained calls for systemic changes to address corruption and governance issues at both national and county levels. Africa Bureau, WION World is One.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.